the CGA Tour, a podcast unlike any other. Now your host, Calvin Alexander.
Welcome back to the latest episode of the CGA Tour Podcast. As always, here I'm your host, Calvin Glen Alexander. But tonight, I'm not necessarily hosting. I'm getting some questions asked to me by maybe the host himself, Joel Denicolo, kind of switching roles here a little bit. One of the members of the Big Three in OKC podcast is tonight joining with his Washington Commanders, but 2 names ago that I don't want to say out loud all the time because people know exactly what I'm talking about, football team. Joel, how's it going?
Doing good, and it's Redskins till we die. I mean, it's just one of them things. We're gonna roll with the Commanders. We're gonna let it sink in here soon, but it's Redskins till we die. I got a 3-year-old. He knows it's Redskins already, so we already got another habit to break. So we'll see, but we'll be in the Super Bowl soon enough. Change is needed, so I'm looking forward to it. Though I'm optimistic.
All right, fair enough. I'm only gonna make this joke about 7,000 more times, but are we calling you guys the Dirge, or what are we going with here? What's the abbreviation? The Washington Comms?
No, let's keep it safe. Let's do the full word. Let's keep it safe.
It's good. Just the Washington Commanders.
There you go. Yes, sir.
Can't wait for Tony Romo to butcher that week 3, whatever, when you guys play against Dallas or something. So, with all that being said, Joel, I know you had a couple of questions for me regarding the Super Bowl. Of course, as anyone doesn't know yet, I live out in LA, work for the Los Angeles Chargers, and am volunteering for the Super Bowl. So, I think I know some information here that Joel was curious about. I'm curious about. At the same point, I'm curious how other people are curious about the Super Bowl. It's a weird event, right? Everyone looks forward to it. There's some stuff going on around it. There's a whole week. We've got the Super Bowl's in Inglewood, so I don't know about you. To me, it's not like in Santa Monica. It's not like it's in picturesque LA. It's not in downtown Hollywood, so it's a little different, right? Inglewood's not necessarily what everyone thinks of as LA. Just be honest. But with that being said, fire them away. Well, what questions do you got?
Yeah. Well, first off, obviously super excited for you and this opportunity. Literally could be a once in a lifetime opportunity just to be a part of it in this manner. Now, quote unquote, correct me if I'm wrong. This is your first ever Super Bowl experience being there somewhat in person, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
but far away. If I was younger, maybe don't remember it, but yeah, this is by far away.
So obviously, we know each other. We talk here and there, but also got each other on social media. And you go to many sporting events that I wish I could also partake in. And just knowing you for the last couple of years, I didn't know if you jumped off the deep end and did a Super Bowl at any time. But awesome that you're able to partake in it. Due to your career path. So salute to you, man. Seriously, this is an awesome setup for you. So, I was picking your brain, shooting you messages here and there. I was like, you know what? Hey, let's. I'm sure we got some listeners that have some similar questions that I might have that same intrigue that I have on just the whole event itself. Obviously, being in SoFi Stadium itself being the most expensive stadium in the world, correct?
Correct.
$5 billion
stadium built to date. Yeah,
that's I can't wait. I can't wait to see it in person. And I know you've been many days are walking up and down. You probably you do all the self-guided tours now too. I bet that's on your resume as well now, huh?
It is. That's one thing that SoFi Stadium LA just separates itself from other teams I've worked for in the past. There is like a SoFi Stadium like fun screen going on behind me. So whatever that shows on, that is not necessarily branded by SoFi, but I'm sure it's something fun. It's weird. SoFi Stadium is the first stadium where every single day that I enter the stadium, I go, "Oh my god, this thing's crazy!" Like it just, I've been fortunate enough, like you said, to work for a handful of different teams. So Boone Pickens Stadium, like I'll never forget the first time I went in the stadium. There's no one in there. I'll never forget when I went to Gallagher Iba Arena. There was nobody in there. Kind of got to go in as an intern, right, to like go grab mail, or go to the rooftop of the stadium in BPS to record something for class or whatever it is. Worked for the Thunder, worked for San Diego Padres, Paycom Center, Petco Park. Then also got a chance to work for Detroit Pistons and Little Caesars Arena and the Pistons Performance Center, Henry Ford Pistons Performance Center as well too. And all those places they all feel incredibly cool to be in. Every place does. But SoFi is one of those where every single time I go in, from the outside of it, It's just so impressive. The inside of it, after a little bit, after being in there for every single day of training for 2 months, after being in there for, I'm going to say probably another month of like days that just doing tours, and then probably like 10 to 15 days of doing like preseason games, home games, and then there's some other events. The inside of it does get a little like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. Like, oh, that's kind of, but still, when I'm walking around it, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, dude, there's just palm trees. Like, there's just such a cool, it's just like, oh yeah, you know what? Oh, there's the huge lake. Oh yeah, there's like all the downtown buildings in downtown. Like, it just is impressive. Um, Now $5 billion, that's not as much money as I will ever see in my lifetime. I don't think you and I both together will see that much money in 5 bill, but maybe with inflation rates we will. Who knows? I'm just I'm impressed every single time I go in. It has not worn off at all. I don't think Paycom Center slash Chesapeake Energy Arena ever really wore off on me either, just because it was so cool to work for the Thunder when I was going to college. But at the same point, like, I was an intern there, so I was in there every single day, sorting preseason tickets to mail out. Would do that 110% again. That is what every intern does. That is part of it. Not not looking down that or whatever. In fact, I actually am really fortunate I had that internship because it got me to this job. But once you like work and like kind of grind like something like that, it's like, all right, like, what am I going to be doing today when I go in? Whereas when SoFi, I know what I'm doing every day. It's just talking about season tickets, showing people around the beautiful stadium. And I'm hyped up to see it every single time I go in because how can you not be? How can I not be? And it's awesome to get to show it off. So yeah, I mean, it's one stadium where every single time I go in, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
That's awesome. That's all. I'm glad that you brought up the lakefront a piece of the property with the palm trees scattered around, not just obviously around the lake, but even pretty much just literally in the stadium. You got palm trees. That beach feel, that Caribbean feel, just that relaxing feel. And then let's jump in there with 70,000 loud fans and let's get after it for a football game. That's, oh my God, I'm dying. I'm dying to
Gotta
get
get you
out
out here. Gotta get you out here. I have Charger season tickets. Your 2 tickets for a game. Let me know which game you want to go to. No one else has told me what game they're going to yet, so gotta get you out here for sure, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm
if it's you and Jew, then we got the couch, we got an Arab mattress, and you're good.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Please do. Please do.
And then you mentioned all of the perks of seeing that beautiful stadium, but you didn't mention that infinity screen. Tell me about that infinity. I heard it's literally bigger than the field. Is that right?
It is. It's 120 yards. So it's a weird. It's a weird screen. It's a weird screen because from certain angles, like if you're sitting in the end zones, you can't really see because you're just. It's weird. Okay, so you can probably anyone can see here from the photo that's behind me, but I'll try to pull this up a little bit better. So there is like an odd deal with it though, as far as how it's positioned through the stadium. Because if you're in the end zones, it's smaller on the end than it is in the middle. So the middle, like it's pretty big, and it kind of goes out on the sides and it comes back again in the middle on the other side. So if you're on the sidelines, which is where majority of the seats are, you have a great perspective of it no matter what. But if you can see like my screen right now and watch this on YouTube or replay or whatever, it says SoFi Stadium and then has the Super Bowl on top. So if you are only able to see the outside of the screen, which if you're in basically the 400 level or above, that's all you can see is just the outside of it. The speakers are are half of the outside of the screen. They are like they're massive speakers. So when I was training, I saw people cleaning them, saw people get into the screen itself. The screen is 3 stories tall, and there is an elevator cart. Like it comes down on like a couple of wires. It's comes down from underneath the screen. There's like a trap door that has an X on it underneath it, and that X like that door like swings open. I don't know how. I don't know if somebody hits a button. I don't know if somebody has to like manually climb inside of it through the catwalk first. No idea. But the door will swing open, and then you'll see a cart like go down all the way down to the field, and people hop in the cart, and then they'll ride all the way back up. And it's just by like a couple of cables, maybe 4 of them on each one side of the cart, and go right back up, and then they'll be in the screen, fixing it, cleaning. I don't know. I'm not asking. I'm just appalled. I'm going, oh. oh my God, they're going to make it. Okay. Every single time. It's just bizarre.
And can you tell the listeners what company made that infinity screen? Because I think it might be the same company that made my phone. Let everybody know, please.
Samsung. It's also
Yes,
the company
sir.
that made the TV behind me too.
Yes, sir.
In case you can see, Samsung. Yeah,
The
Samsung
team
Infinity
Samsung.
screen.
Every electronic in my house is Samsung. my dang stove, my refrigerator, all the TVs. Yeah, we're team Samsung.
Very
We're
loyal
family.
Samsung. Yeah, very loyal Samsung. I like it. Digging it for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the big day. Obviously, February 13th. There's a game coming up. I don't know if it's going to be bigger than the LA Bowl, the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. I know it's going to be a tough toss up, or what if it's going to be bigger. But let's talk about the upcoming game between the Bengals and the Rams, and let's talk about your specific role, because I'm very curious. I know there's a couple different options of how it was going to unfold for you. So what's the latest update on come Sunday morning? Tell me your whole, as of right now, what's your whole schedule look like for Super Bowl Sunday?
Okay. So I don't want to be that guy. I get it. I get to volunteer for the Super Bowl. This is not going to sound like I'm super hyped up about this. Bear with me for a second. I'm going to get to it at the end where I'm more hyped up. But basically, at first, it was like, we don't know. You could be volunteering for any of these several different 8 positions that are available. Comes down to it. I enter my name into the hat. And now I'm entering my name into like I wouldn't say raffle, but I'm entering my name in as like, hey, this is the chance I have to be around the Super Bowl, help out with it some part. I don't care what I'm doing. I would hate to be the guy I'm not buying a Super Bowl ticket. If the Dallas Cowboys had made it, I called my dad. I'd see if I could sell like 30,000 club seats in a month or whatever, hit my commission goal, etc., and try to treat my dad to the Super Bowl. Or if the Dallas Cowboys had made it, like I grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan, more or less. I mean, my dad and grandfather had season tickets with the Chargers till we moved back to Oklahoma when I was like 4 or 5, maybe even like 3.5. But still, when I was younger, moved back to Oklahoma, and then I pretty much a Dallas Cowboys fan. I mean, I can't blame my dad. Cowboys won 5 Super Bowls since he's been alive. Like won them early in the 70s when he was younger and like growing up, and then they won the Super Bowls when the year I was born. Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl. So if the Dallas Cowboys made the Super Bowl, maybe I wouldn't be volunteering. But otherwise, I knew the Chargers weren't making it because, annoyingly enough, they did not tie against the Raiders, so they didn't make the playoffs. And so I was like, all right, by that point, spent my name in that. Let's volunteer. And from there, it was pretty much hey, you could be doing this. You could be doing this. You could be doing this. At the end of the day, Sunday morning, I am going down to El Camino College, parking my car. Got to be there at 8 a.m. Hop on a bus. That's going to take us over to SoFi. And basically be in place by 10 a.m. at SoFi Stadium. So I don't know if they're giving us 2 hours to the bus ride cannot be more than 15, 30 minutes at max with traffic or whatever. So I'm not exactly sure what we'll be doing in those 2 hours necessarily in between. Maybe it's like we get to hang out, take some photos. I'm up for whatever. Cool with whatever. We do get a uniform, which is cool as well. More details TBD. That's what I've been told here. So I gotta make sure the uniform fits, of course.
Well, the way you've been working, you probably need a medium, probably.
So that's Oh yeah. At this point, I'm gonna work out enough. I'll fit into a medium. But you know what? It's either between. It's basically an extra large, depending on how they make the shirt, whatever brand it is. That's where I'm at. I've lost enough weight where like I'm not confident on one size or the other, just because it depends on what brand made the shirt. But with that being said, I'll be doing mobile ticket assistance. This is exactly what I'll be doing at the game. So, for my understanding, that is that I will be inside the Super Bowl perimeter, but maybe not inside the half-mile perimeter, and I will be helping fans enter the stadium. Basically, use their smartphone to get to have the tickets work and enter the stadium. The actual description here is that with gates opening at 11:30, we want to have all staff in place by 10 a.m. at the latest. There will be parking available for mobile ticket support staff at the El Camino College. From there, staff will be shuttled to the stadium. We will ask the staff arrive at El Camino College by 8 a.m. on game day for arrival at the stadium by 9 a.m. More details to follow early next week. It's Monday, so I'm sure they'll send us something tomorrow or whatever. But my role description is staff will be stationed outside the scanning and entry points, assisting fans with any mobile ticket issues as they enter the stadium. So when the Super Bowl comes to any place, there's a half-mile perimeter built out outside the stadium, basically for a variety of different reasons, but more or less security reasons. So I do not think, from what I'm reading off here or what I know, I'll be inside that half-mile perimeter. I believe that myself, as well as some other coworkers who also volunteered and have the same description here and same information, that we will be outside of the perimeter, but helping people enter with their tickets. There'll be different entry points to be able to go through, and we'll be standing outside trying to make sure, okay, hey, this is how the Apple Wallet works. Hey, this is how to view and save your tickets through your phone. Or, hey, you need to go over to this box office and they'll help you out reprinting the tickets or whatever, or looking you up, because it's not going to work the way you have it. And it's going to be one of those multiple things. I've worked in ticket sales now for, coming up on 4 years. It's been 4 years now. I'll be fully on 4 years this June. I've worked in ticket sales. So at this point, if I don't know how mobile tickets work, I probably should be asking myself a couple questions.
Well, I'm sure that
I'll be helpful. Hopefully, I'll be helpful enough. Is my point.
I'm sure that Little Caesars Arena will help out in this Super Bowl game on Sunday.
All the ticket expertise I have there. Hey, would you like a Canadian Heritage Night shirt?
Right.
No? Okay. Can I get you a scarf? Oh, you want the bobblehead? We do not have any more. We are giving out all the bobbleheads. So, anyways, yeah, it'll be something like that, I'm sure.
That's awesome, man. That's okay. So, so you're gonna get there at 10. Gates are 11:30. And obviously, of course, this is like no other game that is around. So I know for Thunder games, obviously here in Oklahoma City, doors open an hour and a half before tip off. It's for NFL games. Is it still hour and a half, 2 hours? Or what is it typically for?
So it's normally 2 hours.
Okay.
Normally 2 hours. I remember we had to get to the stadium for any of our games. We had to get there at maybe 2 and 8. Yeah, I'm trying to think here. I think it's normally 2 hours. So we had to get to the stadium for normal game day, run a show. A lot of Chargers games kicked off at 1, 1:10, 1:30, somewhere in there. So we had to get to the stadium at 9:30. Then we had like a pre-huddle meeting, went over what we're going to do that today, got breakfast or lunch. Awesome. And then basically had to be over our stations kind of like, 10:15, everything set up. So that by 11, when the gates open, everyone's coming in. We're all set up and ready to go with all of our ticket booth and, all that type of stuff. Gotcha. So Super Bowl, they're opening it up 4 hours early.
Okay, that's what I was assuming. Just confirm. Okay, so you can literally come into the stadium, hang out in your seat. Not that many people do that 4 hours for the whole time, hanging out in your seat. But you potentially could for this unique.
Hey, event. If you're spending upwards of $5,000 a ticket, I don't blame
you.
It.
Get the money. Get your money's worth.
Come on in. Come on in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, one of the other big questions, and I slightly already know the answer, but I do want to hear it more, and a verbal response from you is the seating capacity for a typical game at SoFi, whether it's Chargers or Rams, is what, 70,000 or 72,000? I think
70. Yeah, 70,000.
And then I did see across the ticker that for the Super Bowl, we're bumping it to 100,000, which definitely caught my eye and definitely piqued my interest on where you guys going to get 30,000 seats from. But it sounds like that's not the case at all, right? What are we doing with 30,000 extra people in the stadium on Sunday?
So there are 30,000 standing room only tickets available if SoFi wants to make them available. So SoFi Stadium. So more or less, just to kind of clean and simple, they're opening up all the stadium room only seats to be able to sell, or give out to, fingers crossed, me after my volunteer shift is over, or somebody, right?
Yeah.
I'll hopefully I get to keep the shirt. I get for volunteering. I was asked to return the shirt that I used to volunteer for the Bears Rams game, the season opener. I was asked to return that shirt after working in the box office. I get it. I told him, I was like, yeah, can I please wash this for you? Like, good Lord, you don't want this right now.
Right.
And they're like, because I wore a different shirt until I got there, Grant.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, please do. So I did that and brought it back. They probably still had to watch it again or something. I, probably couldn't take my word for it legally with COVID and stuff too. Anyways, so
we're talking about a shirt that just literally said like SoFi on a polo shirt, or what were we talking?
Basically, yeah. I was trying to find that shirt. Instead, I wore my Hollywood Park shirt. Okay. It says I got this for volunteering for an event that no one knew I was there. I could have never shown up. I don't think I never checked off a sheet that had my name on it. I
had
never
no
signed
record.
anything. I stood around the stadium from like 9 a.m. to, let's say noon. Maybe it was 10 a.m. to noon or something. A couple hours on a Saturday or Sunday, like right after I started, when it was like, hey guys, all 5 of you guys need to work this event. And we're like, oh, all right, cool. All right, I guess I'm not, setting up the rest of my apartment this weekend or whatever. I mean, it's fun how events go, right? Like some events are just hugely attended where I would have definitely been needed, could have answered a bunch of questions, but that must have been just a super late arriving crowd. And I got lucky enough to sign up early, do an earlier shift or volunteering. But yeah, I should have worn I was trying to find my polo that says SoFi Stadium box office on it.
Yeah.
It's like navy. Right, Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl shirt. That was a weird one. Yeah.
So back to the extra 30,000 are going to be in the stadium for Super Bowl Sunday. So you're saying the 70,000 that are there for a regular game, you're not. Obviously, some of those are still standing room only tickets out of that 70,000 for a regular game, right?
So every seat that is sold for a regular game is sold as a seat.
Okay.
Sold as an actual physical seat. Now, the playoffs for the Rams, I'm sure they got some standing room only tickets out there or whatever. I mean, if the demand is high enough, I'm sure there's something that changes there. I'm not an expert in that field. But what I can say for sure is that a lot, like the 500 level of seats, for example, in SoFi Stadium, kind of the upper deck, is not widely packed for every single game, even if the game is sold out. And it's because there are drink rails behind a lot of different sections in SoFi Stadium, behind the 200 level, 300 level, 100 level. Not really, but there's just some other spots where people can hang out that are kind of ceremony spots. 400 level for sure, right behind the seats. There's a drink rail at every single seat. So with all of that, you can standing only. Those are not sold as like actual seats. Like you don't have like, hey, I have spot 17 on the 400 level in this section or whatever as a standing only seat. But like basically, if you have a standing only ticket, like it's your right to say you have that over somebody else going, hey, I have 500 level.
Yeah.
Now, granted, like you and I, if we're walking to the stadium talking to somebody or whatever, right? Like, hey man, I've been looking for like a spot for a drink rail for a while. I've got a kid, a little brother, or just like, hey, it's just me. Like I was staying here earlier. Got to play who it is. But at the same point, like everyone enters into SoFi Stadium through the 300 level.
Yeah.
The 100 and 200 level were built into the ground.
Right.
And so if you come in, you don't want to necessarily go all the way up to your seats. You want to stay at the drink rails. Like no one's gonna yell at you for wanting to stand at the drink rails unless you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Right. So for a regular game, that's where a lot of people are. That's why the 500 level is not always just slam backed, or the 400 level is not just slam backed. The Chargers play the Jaguars next year. It'll be a great game, I'm sure, because Trevor Lawrence versus Justin Herbert will be fun to watch. The new Jaguars head coach will be fun to watch too. But if the game's not sold out, then people, or even if it is, people will be standing behind the drink rails regardless, because I don't blame you for not wanting to go up to row 22 at the 500 level or at the top row of your stadium and making every single person sit there, right? So,
right.
Okay.
All right. So let's what can you tell us about ticket prices? We're talking about just face value versus what the resale value is. Can you give us a range on highest to lowest?
Yeah. So I can give you a range for the lowest for sure. So as an employee, and with other employees throughout SoFi Stadium that work at least for the Chargers and the Rams that are ticket sellers. That's all I know about is the ticket sellers for the Rams and Chargers. I know what we were offered, what was told to us as face value for tickets. Granted, some of these prices sold out like immediately, so I couldn't even offer like, hey, dude, I know Joel would have loved to go to the Super Bowl. Let me get him face value seats. Like some of the prices sold out so quickly that I couldn't have even had the time to call you up and say, hey, do you want to spend this much money to go to Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I would have just done it for you knowing you pay me back or whatever, right?
Right.
But the prices start at like $950 for the cheapest ticket in the entire stadium. Face value is like $950, and they range to going up to like $2,900 in pricing. And that's $2,900 is like corner in the 300, $2,900 for corner in the 300 level.
How much would that ticket normally be for, like you said, Chargers versus Jaguars?
Oh gosh, Chargers, Jaguars. I mean,
because imagine the prices are all different based on the opponents.
Yeah, Chargers, Jaguars for last season was $115.
115. So that same
But
seat
but
is
it was
29.
that was the season ticket rate for last year for Chargers season tickets per game.
Gotcha.
Per seat, the 300 left quarters. Yeah.
Okay.
So imagine spending $115 and then Super Bowl you're spending $2,990. I mean, for anyone who's curious, like the resale value on that is insane because it's not even. It's like double. It's double that to get in.
Okay.
At least that's the last time I saw it. It was like $6,000 to get in on a resale.
Okay.
But it's wild world we're living in. With this is the most expensive Super Bowl ticket price I think I've ever seen. So
I was going to assume, obviously being the brand new stadium, fresh off the pandemic. Because correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously in Tampa Bay, they didn't have a full stadium for sure. What was it? 50%, 75% capacity.
Yeah, I forget exactly, but you're right.
Full, you got people chomping at the bit to check out a Super Bowl, and the best city in the world, in my opinion, right, Calvin? Right?
Hell yeah, best city in the world is wherever I'm living, so I'm with you there. And prices come down a little bit on the Super Bowl tickets, so they're now fourth. I mean, you can get a deal now. It's $4,608 before fees per seat to get in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Ticketmaster, or are we not allowed to say
StubHub? It's StubHub.
Okay.
I could check Ticketmaster too.
Yeah. Okay, so you said 4,600 is the cheapest right this second on StubHub.
StubHub, yep.
And is that section 500?
Oh yeah, that's 532, row 9.
Yeah. You're out there with the birds.
Let me say it this way: like, if you ask, "Hey, do you want to go to the game with me?" as like a date, she's not gonna be super impressed by that. Even if she's not a football fan, not gonna be super impressed by those seats.
Don't bring her. Don't waste your time on your
money. I mean, bring someone who's either gonna pay for their ticket or figure out some other deal. I would not take a. Yeah, I mean, it matters where you're at in life, but stuff changes. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. So across the street from the stadium, you have the new is it NFL headquarters? Is that what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been in there? Do you get to go in there?
I have not. I've not been in yet. Yeah.
Okay. And then still connected under the same roof, hopping back across the street, you have the YouTube Theater. Mm-hmm. Any special events going on, or is it just full? Live music party, obviously all day long, right?
Yeah, so they have a bunch of different concerts that they host in YouTube Theater. It is an extremely, extremely nice venue. It seats about 7,000. I know the first event they had in there was the Inglewood High School graduation, which is really cool. I did not attend it, but I just know that's the first event they had in the YouTube Theater. They're going to have other high school graduations as well, I assume, too. The coolest thing about the YouTube Theater is that it truly is in SoFi Stadium. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's kind of weird, I guess. It's where like all of us like as employees like met and hung out before going in. I'm not necessarily sure what the best way to like put this is, but whoever thought of like building SoFi Stadium did a great job with thinking of how people, because if you read your ticket and your ticket says enter at entry 11, you're going to go straight to your seat every single time. It's great. That's a clean, simple, easy process. You're going to walk right down to your seats. You're going to walk right up to your seats. You're going to be perfectly fine. But for the people who go, 11's on the other side of the stadium, I just want to go in. I just want to go in and cut through. That's where you start going into like, then I have to help you find how to get through to your seat, because there's different club areas that you can't go through. So, for example, on the second level of the stadium and the first level of the stadium, for that matter, there are mainly club seats, but there are also, there are mainly club seats, but there are also the ability to like sit in like reserve seats too. So, or premier level seats. So those who have club access. So if you enter in through the wrong entrance and you're like, oh, but my seats are over there on the other side, they're going to tell you to either go up like 3 or 4 floors, just go over to the other side and then drop all the way back down. Or they're going to be like, oh, well, hang on a second. Let me find like myself or somebody else to escort you through. Mm-hmm. And that for the Rams-Bears game that opened the season, that's mainly what I was doing. Is I was in the 100 level. And I was just standing there, and I was like, you know what?
Cattle.
Like
herding cattle.
Well, like I had one dude yelling at another person who was yelling at another person. I was just like, hey, I'll help you out here. What are we looking for? What are we doing? And the person's like, my seats are in section 122 premieres. I'm like, well, you're in section like 102 premieres. And they're like, yeah, they won't let me through. And I was like, well, technically speaking, you need to go up to level 5 and then go over and then come, or level between 4 and 5, go and then come down. And they're like, oh, well, what do I need to do that? And I was like, well, you can take this elevator, or I can escort you through. And so just like escorting through doesn't, isn't bad at all. But still, it's just like, it just kind of is what it is. It's kind of annoying from that aspect, because whenever you're thinking about coming into SoFi Stadium, you're like, oh, cool, like, I'll come on in. You can come into the team store. You can come into several other areas of the stadium, basically, and be fine. But it's just going to be hard to get to your seats. Yeah. That's the end of the day. It's just going to be much harder to get to your seats than you would think, because you didn't enter through the right gate. That's the biggest thing I'd say. Enter through the gate that says on your ticket, you're set. Yeah. Totally good. Because then from there, you can figure out how to like wander around and see other stuff. And it's people who are like, oh, I want to see like whatever's in the stadium. That's where you get caught up.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you talked about walking into the stadium. Well, before you walk into the stadium, if you're brave enough, you got to park your car. Tell me about parking. And again, it's kind of a two-part question. Again, coming from someone that's never been to SoFi Stadium. I take that back. I've been there before it was completed. I've actually been there twice, when it was still a skeleton in production and construction. But parking, what is it like on a regular game day? And I can't say what is it like on a Super Bowl. What do you predict it to be like on a Super Bowl when we're talking about how much it costs?
Oh gosh, parking for a Chargers game was tough. That's the only way I can say. Like, it was tough. It's a 70,000 seat stadium, and there are about 11,000 parking spaces in the stadium the stadium.
Wow.
So when you're thinking about that, and then it's built into like, Inglewood is a city. Inglewood is not a suburb. It's a city, and so I know you get that, but for other people like Arlington, when AT&T Stadium was built with Jerry World, that was they were expanding into the suburbs, so they had a lot of room to build on parking. This is it's LA. Every single space, every single spot you ever want to buy any property in has had a huge premium because it's LA. I mean, my apartment, I have a roommate, great dude, good friend, Patrick McDermott. He's been on several podcasts now. And I pay more in rent than my buddy Zev, who's part of also the Big Three in OKC. I pay $400 more in rent a month than my buddy Zev, who lives in OKC, Zev has a driveway, garage, 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in Oklahoma City, like 10 blocks away from my parents' house. Like, I'm jealous as can be about that price and that deal for what I'm paying for, right? So that gives you some context if someone doesn't know. It's great, but the best way I'd say is that there's parking comes at such a premium, and it costs you so much for any regular season Chargers game. I don't even want to think about what it costs for the Super Bowl. I mean, as a volunteer, the NFL building that's right outside the Charger Stadium, or SoFi Stadium, is a beautiful stadium. It's a beautiful building, but it's the parking garage where we park on game days. They sell spaces in there, but that NFL building parking garage, it's great, but it's just not. It's not even that close, and they're not letting us park there as volunteers for the game day, right? So I don't even want to think about. And they let us park there every single game day that we worked for the Chargers, which is great. But they still were like, "Hey, is anyone carpooling? Like, can we get a couple extra parking passes back? Whatever." And it's just, I just know parking's going to be so tough, so tough.
I seen, I've I'm born in LA. I got a lot of family in LA. I try to keep up as much as I can with just current events going on in this or I guess now over a week ago. Did you see the video of some random guy who cut the fence for the 49ers Rams game? Did you see this? And it was just like a random grass field in between two ran down buildings, and he like cut the fence and started selling it as parking spots. And then I don't know how the cops caught wind. I guess he looked suspicious, from Jump Street, and the cops came and shut it down and told all the people that he'd already collected money from. Sorry, y'all got to move y'all vehicles. I guess they started tailgating. It was pretty early. Did you catch wind of that? I was like, oh man, I know for sure whoever does own that property is definitely going to keep that fence cut down for the Super Bowl, because our homie that just had the idea of go ahead and doing it for the NFC Championship game, collected some cash.
I mean, props to him for making some money. I'm never going to fault anyone for seeing an opportunity and cashing in on it, but that is not the way I would have done it. And also, I know from a season ticket member that he's told me, he's like, yeah, every game I go in and do the exact same thing. I go in, I park in this one spot, and I think like the biggest lot we have, which is the orange lot, it's just a huge, really long lot on the east side of the stadium. Mm-hmm. And I don't know exactly where he parks in the lot, otherwise I would say. And he's like, and then to leave, I just pick up this one cone, move it, pull out my car, and then immediately like look around and then put the cone back, or just leave it where it is and just keep going. And I'm like, all right, man, you know what? I can't do anything about that. I have no idea that many details about it. I don't know how to really stop you from doing that. Cool. Because when I'm leaving the stadium, it's a nightmare.
Right.
I mean, like, I'm an employee and I'm in the parking garage that is like a parking garage, not the lot. Mm-hmm, I have a pretty quick walk to my car in comparison to a lot of fans. That, even though I'm not that close, I have to go around a building. Mm-hmm. But still, like, my parking, like, there's only one other parking lot I could really park them that'd be closer, maybe two, from how I exit the stadium. And it takes me so long to get out of the stadium to get home. So when people are like, dude, man, parking is just, I don't even, and I'm going, I'm right there with you. In fact, if I could buy my own parking pass, I would. It just doesn't, I mean, it doesn't make sense for me financially to do that at all, because then I'd be like, oh, am I going to use? Probably not.
So to carry on this super interesting conversation about parking,
everyone's curious. Yeah.
You'd mentioned Jerry's World, and I've always found this fascinating. Jerry's World was built right across the street from a Walmart. Well, SoFi Stadium, over there by the red zone parking lot, there's a Target right there. How does Target, if you even know the answer to this, I'm really stretching, how do they know if you are there for Target versus a game? How do they know?
I have no idea, but I can tell you, I can tell you basically this. So my cousin, who lives out here close by, his name's Cody Alexander. He's a great dude. He hit me up and he's like, hey, by chance, could I come to the preseason game? And I have season tickets, so I sent him my 2 tickets. It's like, yeah, it'd be great. Come on out, And then he goes, okay, sounds great. And then he called me during the middle of the first quarter, like not sobbing or anything, but he just sounded really depressed and down. He's like, Calvin, I am so sorry. I got to be honest. I cannot stomach paying $60 to $70 for parking for a preseason game. I thank you so much for giving me the tickets. What do they cost? I want to pay you back because I didn't even ask about that. And I'm assuming there was a cost to him. Yada, yada, all this type of stuff. But he's like, Calvin, I can't find anywhere to park. And I was like, what about so I asked him, I said, hey, so what's the deal with like the Target? Because I've only been there when there's not a game, right?
Right.
And he goes, Calvin, I don't even know what the deal would be. There were several different like lines of cars trying to get in there, and several different like police cop cars there as well for one of the first preseason games. And maybe that was just a barrier to entry, right? Like, okay, you see the cop cars, maybe it warns you off a little bit, whatever. But I know if you park at the Forum, which is across the street and is a half mile from the stadium for a Chargers home game, it is $75.
Okay.
For a regular parking space.
Okay.
Chargers season ticket parking starts out at $50 a game and goes up to $100 a game.
Okay.
So when I see it for resale for $200 a game, I'm going, maybe I should buy parking. I can flip parking for every single game, make a little bit of money. Now I cannot do that as an that looks extremely bad. One, but two, I'm just kind of banned. I'm just not banned from doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that clearly. But
Target.
if someone's like, hey man, any idea? Like I've invited a couple of friends out to use my season tickets or whatever when I haven't been able to, give them out to clients or whatever the deal is, where I haven't been able, of course, to use them for friends or family. And they've all pretty much come up with the same thing. Mm-hmm. Hey man, yeah. So like, do you have any deal on parking though? Because it's just so. It's in a neighborhood, you know this, but it's like the stadium is backed up to a neighborhood. When anyone sees me take a photo, or when anyone sees like take a photo or on Snapchat or Instagram of me seeing the stadium, and I'm showing it looks beautiful, and there's like planes flying overhead or whatever. Behind me is a neighborhood, like
on all four sides,
like 200, like 100 yards behind me is a neighborhood with a huge brick wall, so you can't see the stadium. Now, of course, that's also I think for noise prevention. I hope at least it is, because it's so loud for a game. I can't imagine somebody leaving the game, not having season tickets, right? Because you're living that close, like maybe you don't have season tickets. And not everyone in the whole neighborhood has season tickets for both teams, I'm sure. And that wasn't like an added perk of living there. And man, I just can't imagine that, because that would suck.
Yeah.
Living there, paying whatever it costs to live there. And then every Sunday in the fall, it's like, oh my God, hey, did we remember that this stadium is massive and there's 70,000 seats? And there's 10,000, 11,000 parking spaces, people leaving? By far and away.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, okay. Well, I do appreciate all the extra insight on the stadium. Looking forward to this game, of course, on Sunday. One thing before we go, though, Saturday night before the game, where are you and Ice Cube going to be at? What club y'all going to be at Saturday night?
So I don't know if you saw this, but a good coworker, OSU grad, fellow sports media alum from Oklahoma State University, and she actually joined me for a podcast not too long ago. Natalie Sutton invited me to
So you're skipping hanging out with Ice Cube and his crew. Okay, man, that's loyalty right there. That's respect.
I don't necessarily have a way to find Ice Cube, nor I don't think Ice Cube is looking for me, the 6'2", 230-pound white dude living out in LA, 220 pounds most days. But I don't think he's looking for me either. So there's one more kind of funny story, is that for every single Oklahoma State football game this year, they had a watch party. Or just every single game, but like almost every single game. There was like a watch party at this place called Third Base down in downtown Hollywood. So, I mean, right in the middle of like, Hollywood Walk of Fame, a bunch of other places, right? But it turns into a night-ish club at night. Like, it's a sports nightclub. They've got a ton of TVs. But there was a night where Oklahoma State was playing, oh gosh, I cannot, Texas Tech, where it was a really low-scoring game, really close for a while.
It was
but
an
like
ugly game.
Oklahoma State, like, can we hold on to the lead, or just a tie game? But there was a huge boxing match that night, huge boxing match, and so the place is turning into the boxing match deal. But they know they've made a commitment to have Oklahoma State people there, and one of the dudes who's like the event host or whatever, he brings a cowbell for every single watch party. It's great. Wakes me up in the morning, especially when we've got 9 a.m. games, right? It's great. But he's ringing the cowbell as like they're kind of trying to get us out of the place. They're like, hey, can you guys we're going to move you over to this TV in the back part of the bar, by the bathrooms, in between the men's and women's, where you guys kind of like hang out, like lean up against like the weird like bar railing / like where all the toiletries are kept in this cabinet thing. I'm pretty sure. I just didn't look in it to know. And we're like, oh, okay, sure. Because I mean, there's like 7 of us, right? Yeah. Like it's not a ton. But I'm decked out, me. Jersey, hat, whatever. Yep. It's just kind of tough. So they're trying to kick us out, and the guy like comes over, talks to the other guy, and I was like, what's going on? And he talks to the other guy again, And the guy's like, no, you told us we could be here for every single game. Why is this the issue? Like, because we're not taking up a huge spot. It's on one TV anyways. We're just sitting at a booth versus standing next to a bar rail.
Yeah.
And then, more or less, it ended up where we ended up moving to the bar rail. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Like we were not winning the argument. It was late enough in the season where it's like, whatever. And for the OU game, I'm not going to be there. I went home and got to see the OU game in person. Thank goodness. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not a big, oh yeah, let's hang out, watch. It was kind of like oh, you guys are weird.
Yeah.
You're weird, dude, with a cowbell ring in it. There's like a weird mix of racial profiles here. And then there's just like one taller white dude, which is me. And I say taller just because like everyone else was like 5'7". I don't know why.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other dudes who come out who are like 6'5", but it still was it was just funny. It was just a funny time.
So you gave me your schedule up until obviously kickoff. So you're still kind of undetermined on what happens after the kickoff happens?
I'm trying not to get my hopes up. That like, they'll let us in or whatever.
Yeah.
Because of one major thing. I parked my car at like a place they know where it is and they know, right? Like I'm driving my car down to El Camino College. I mean, gas is $4.39 a gallon here at Costco. At Costco, it's $4.39 a gallon. So that's the cheapest place to get it. It just stabbed right in the heart there with the $97 fill up on a 22-gallon tank. But I'm driving my car like 20 miles.
Yeah.
To go park at a place, to volunteer, to whatever, to get close by. So I would hope that they have some deal like, hey, come to the Super Bowl watch party. That's in like at least inside the district, and like maybe we can all go take a photo outside the stadium where we're close enough to see it. Because if I'm outside the half-mile perimeter for the whole entire thing, I'll be annoyed. I'm not gonna be mad, not gonna be upset, but I'll be just kind of annoyed, and I don't want to get my expectations like higher than that. That way, I'm just kind of still good,
right?
Because if I get my expectations up, like, well, hey, dude, then I won't be that guy.
Yeah. Don't be that guy.
I can keep my expectations reasonable. Maybe I get to keep the shirt. That was my uniform. Or I get to take some cool photos when we get there early or something.
Right.
Maybe there's some benefit in volunteering besides just saying I volunteered for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But if it's just, hey, I volunteered for the Super Bowl, is around it, you know what? The two teams that are playing are great teams. There'll be replays of it. There'll be replays of the commercials. There'll be replays of everything. I'm not going to be missing out too much, really. I'm not going to be too mad, really. I'll be mad and annoyed a little bit, but I was talking about a ticket for $950, even if I could have. Yeah, I wouldn't have. I was talking about a ticket for
really
$2,000 of what have could have.
Yeah,
Rams Bengals
doesn't do nothing for you.
It's gonna be an awesome game. The storyline's into it. You've got like 3 first-round overall draft picks kind of surrounding this game, right? You've got the Matt Stafford for Jared Goff trade, where both were first-rounders. You've got the Joe Burrow trade as a first rounder. You got a guy towards ACL, like I also tore my ACL. You got a lot of things going in the game. You've got basically like Team LSU versus Odell Beckham with the one LSU guy, right? So many things going in the game, but still, $950 after processing fees, everything all together is still $1,000 for one ticket. Like, because think about it this way, from my perspective, this was not like I'll buy a seat right next to my roommate. Yeah, this was I'll be able to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Cannot resale.
Right.
You have to be the dumbest dude I know to buy a resale for the Super Bowl, to try to list your ticket for resale for the Super Bowl when explicitly through several emails told you not to. So is what it is there, right? And I'd rather be around the event and have a 10% chance of maybe getting to see the game for a quarter versus that's what I'm going with. Like, I'm trying to build in my head of like, hopefully I have a 10% chance of going into the game and seeing it for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Of like real time, not game time granted.
Right.
And moving on.
Yeah.
When in the back of my head, I probably know.
Yeah.
Probably gonna take us, then tell us all like, hey guys, thanks so much for volunteering. We're gonna take you guys all to like this tent, hang out, watch the rest of the game, and then we'll leave.
Yeah.
Which that's what I haven't seen today. You know what? I'll wake up Monday morning, be doing my same job.
Yeah.
Hopefully go to the stadium go back to the stadium as soon as I can, take some photos, post on LinkedIn, be like, I believe I worked this incredible NFL season, did all the stuff, and be good.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know. Fun stuff for sure.
Well, Sunday, obviously, I'm going to be super interested. Everybody that all your friends and family going to be super. It sounds like a live stream. You're just going to go live stream as soon as you help all these people out that don't know how you use Ticketmaster app. Help all those people out, and then live stream. Tell us where you're walking, where you're headed. If you got inside that half mile radius of the game, and better yet, if you get inside the stadium, man, because that is man, that's going to be epic. Obviously, I'm kind of hinting at the major Super Bowl halftime that they're going to be having with some of the best West Coast stars we got out there. So that's a whole nother ball game in itself right there. I can't wait to see the stage and how they're going to do it, LA style. Oh my God, it's going to be
you actually reminded me that I did want to play something in the podcast here. I did want to play a video, the Super Bowl halftime show trailer, in case anyone has not seen it yet.
Do it.
It is awesome. And it also, I've been bumping a little bit of Dr. Dre recently here.
Yes, sir.
Which not normally. I also have been playing. I also shout out to you. The Game has a great line in his song "Hate It or Love It," and if you know me well enough, "Hate It or Love It" lyrics, you know that this one line applies to me extremely well. So let me see here. Yeah, literally the second line in this song, "Hate or Love It," is coming up. I was confused. My mommy kissing a girl, and so if you know me at all, you know how, then the third line is confusion occurs coming up in the cold world. Like those two lines resonate with me a lot.
Yeah,
from how
hit home.
How I was going through life earlier on when I was younger. Now, the fourth line of "Daddy Ain't Around" could not be more farther from the truth.
I'm about to say,
my dad has been there from day one and been the greatest guy ever in my entire life. But anyways, shout out to you for turning that on to me while this halftime trailer loads here. So,
yes, sir.
All right, let's see if I can get it without a couple ads. YouTube loves to throw that stuff in. Get a couple blind reacts here. Except for you and I, of course, have seen this. I'm assuming many times here.
Throw YouTube a couple dollars, man. They ain't got to hear the ads. Throw them a couple dollars.
Huh?
Throw them a couple dollars. Throw YouTube a couple dollars, man. They ain't got to hear their ads.
Oh, well, if I don't have to, I would rather not. Let's be honest here. I would rather not, but let's see here if I can remember how to share screen. Yeah, of course I want to share the screen. Yeah. All right, here. Share. Joel.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. I think I got it all keyed up. Hopefully it's not extremely loud, but it might be. I know Eminem ties in for sure, but it's great that it goes immediately West Coast. So Joel, I don't even remember this. I sent you a Snapchat of Snoop Dogg right outside of Randy's Donuts in LA.
Mm-hmm.
He was in this car, just the top was down.
No, that's right.
Now there was a blacked out GMC Escalade, or there was a blacked out kind of like Escalade or GMC Yukon, or one of those like blacked out armored-ish kind of vehicle. Security detail was right behind him.
Right behind him.
He was smoking probably a J.
Yeah.
In this exact car. I know it's this car with a top down for sure.
That's awesome, man.
Like it says, "Do not attempt" at the bottom there. It's great. Man, with the piano keys in the ocean. This is Dr. Dre is the coolest part of this by far. Like Snoop Dogg's is amazingly cool, but this is the coolest. Still got the keys in the background, going with the music.
It's the best. It's the best beat in hip hop history. The best beat in hip hop history, in my opinion. So it's gonna be one of those rare times when it comes to the halftime show in the game itself. It's gonna be one of those rare ones. I'm like, hey, this is gonna be pretty evenly matched this go round. I cannot wait, man, to hear those keys play and that stadium, like you said, the whole infinity scoreboard filled up with all the speakers, and oh my god, it's gonna be so epic.
I mean, you got okay. Mary J. Blige has some great songs. None of them are necessarily like in my top favorites, but I gotta say, you have Snoop Dogg, which I was jamming out to, California Love for a while coming out to LA. Eminem was listening to a ton of his albums growing up, which probably too many of them. Maybe that's kind of why I'm a little mentally the way I am. But you know what? It was a good coping mechanism for some of life. Who doesn't know Lose Yourself word by word, right? And then I'd say to follow up with all of that, it's Dr. Dre is just like so many good beats. So many good beats. And didn't even say Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
like
seriously.
When I work out every single time, there is at least one Kendrick Lamar song coming on, and I should probably listen to more Kendrick. Cannot wait until he releases another album, but like all his albums are so good. I don't.
He's the younger generation's version of Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I've given that true West Coast feel. So in this lineup, he's the one at the bottom of the list, which is crazy to think about. At least if you're probably 30 years or older, you'd probably agree with me. Now if you're 20, you might have a little disagreement there, but yeah, man, this is going to have like you said, just the game itself with the big time names, the big time storylines, the uniqueness. Again, we're coming off now back-to-back years where it hadn't happened prior to last year of the home team actually playing in the home stadium of the Super Bowl. Now it's back-to-back years, which is that's a crazy storyline in itself. How it hadn't happened prior to last year, and here we go back-to-back. So, oh man, it's going to be a good one. So, are we going to end it with predictions or save that for later? How do you think we can close it out?
Yeah. Well, I have one more question for you. So,
Good
Kid, Mad City was like the album. For if anyone's ever taken like International Baccalaureate, the IB degree program, or knows anything about it, that's what I took in high school. Right, to write an extended essay that was 30 some odd pages, or maybe if it was 3,000 words and that was it. I feel bad now because I'm now not that mad about 3,000 words, but I think it was like 3,000 words. Maybe it was like 30 pages. It was crazy. It seemed at the time the longest paper I've ever written, and it was over the history of rap music. So I got really I chose my own topic. I tried to choose a topic that my teacher would know nothing about. 70-plus-year-old white woman did not know much about rap music. So I was like, I did not like her. Was not a fan of Miss Halsey at all. Everyone knew this. Everyone still knows. So I hope she's okay now. But, I'm a bigger person now, I hope. With that being said, Good Kid, Mad City was like the album. 2012, senior year of high school, bumping it. Freshman year of college. That was like the album. It still is the album. Money Trees, listen to that all the time. That might be one of my top 5 songs ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're a little bit older than me. Is your favorite, one of your favorite albums the year you graduated high school?
Yes.
Or is
it?
Yeah. Okay. So,
for sure.
About that. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously with Game, it'd be the documentary was the one that really made an imprint. And then, of course, I'm going to get this. It's going to confuse everybody. Of course, I'm a Game guy, but I'm also Kanye West guy. So College Dropout. Those two are right there in that last year of high school.
Yeah.
So those are, so 100% in line with, I feel like your peak music listening time is like, not that it fades away, but just, when you really can hardcore relate that 16 to 23 age group, age frame of anybody's life. I think that you can really relate on a lot of music, just the way it makes you feel, that keeping that youthfulness, and it sticks around. Obviously, it's hard for me to adapt to any of these new musical artists that are, younger than 22 years old. You just kind of stick with you like who you like at the end of the day. So, but yeah, no, the major impact in the music industry when it came to
for sure
tail end of high school. So,
all right, well, I'll say this: Super Bowl predictions. I'm taking the spreads Rams -4.5.
Okay,
that's the last spread I saw on the previous podcast recorded. That still is yet to debut. So I'm still working on it a little bit, but I'll put it out probably tonight or tomorrow. The spread was -4.5 Rams, and I'm taking the Bengals, but with the points. I got to take the points with it. I feel like it's going to be a 3-point game. I feel like the Bengals could win 37-34.
Okay.
I feel like the Rams are going to win 35-20.
Okay.
But, I think Joe Burrow's the man. I think he'll figure it out. I'm taking the Bengals.
Okay.
What about you?
Okay. I'm going Rams for sure. I'm going to go Rams by touchdown. Okay. I think just the pieces that they've added. I was actually watching the earlier replay of the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl. Obviously was the ugliest Super Bowl in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, it was painful to rewatch. I'm sure
there was not a passing touchdown in the entire game by the Rams, who obviously were quarterbacked by Goff at the time, going against Brady. Brady didn't throw a touchdown pass. That's how god awful that game was. But looking at the Rams, it's obviously a night and day team. I mean, really, it's Aaron Donald and what's the lineman, the 40-year-old lineman. No, Von Miller was in Denver. No, the lineman. They got a 40-year-old lineman, Andrew Whitworth. Is it Whitworth? Number 77 for the Rams, offensive lineman. That was the only two dudes that I recognized was Aaron Donald and big left tackle. But
gotcha.
The pieces that they've added, obviously, like you said, with Von Miller, of course, Jalen Ramsey, then Odell Beckham. These are major pieces and guys that have got a lot of experience on their belt. Bengals, I think this is going to be a team that we're going to be seeing quite a bit here in the next 5 to 10 years. But I think this is one of those times where it's like, okay, it's the Rams' turn. Tom Brady's now officially retired, and that was ironically the Rams got past Tom Brady and literally was made Tom Brady's last game in Tampa Bay was versus the LA Rams. So I think it's kind of the passing of the torch right now for the NFC. But the Bengals, they earned it. Like I said, Joe Burrow is going to be he's going to be in the conversation, the Super Bowl conversation for quite some time now. We're seeing some of these greats, leaving us. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, the tail end of his career. Ben Roethlisberger, obviously, he did retire. This is the handoff now. We've got the Patrick Mahomes, the Allens out there. And, Stafford's been doing his thing. We just haven't had the cast, and now he has the cast. So, let's go Rams by touchdown.
Sounds good. Quickly here on Whitworth, just because I was so fascinated by a 40-year-old is he starting in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
He's the starting left tackle as a 40-year-old. I mean, he's
the man, yeah.
But he was drafted. I mean,
by the Bengals. He was drafted by the Bengals.
All this. He was drafted by the Bengals in 06.
Yeah.
How have we not talked? He went to LSU. I mean, this dude is the dude to know in the Super Bowl.
Yes,
I mean, he's got every tie-in possible. He didn't play with Odell. He didn't play with Jamar. He didn't play with Burrow. But
way before them.
but still, shout out to Andrew Whitworth.
Yes,
and
sir.
His 5.17 40-yard dash time. That's better than I could do. I can almost guarantee I cannot run a 40 faster than this guy.
The question is,
5.17?
When was that 40 though? Was that in 06 or was that this year?
Oh, I mean, you're talking
about draft combine.
Today, I hope I could. Yeah, it says all values for NFL combine. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, his vertical jump was still 30.5 inches.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'7". He weighs 330. I'm putting it nicely there. I'm running down. And he's all right. Joel with the experience nugget here at the end of the podcast, really throwing out the Andrew Whitworth theme. I am, man. All right. Well, Joel, this is definitely a zone episode at this point because it's an hour talking about the Super Bowl. Love it. So, Joel, as always, thanks so much for joining me / kind of interviewing me, asking me questions about the Super Bowl here on the latest episode of the CGA Tour Podcast. If you want to be notified of when I go live stream the Super Bowl, follow out the CGA Tour on Twitter or Instagram. I'm not sure which one I'll do yet, so you got to follow both. You got to be double sure to get my live stream and updates with my AirPods in, I'm assuming, and me walking around the Super Bowl. with some sunglasses on. But I'll be completely sober because I'll volunteer since 8 a.m.
The only reason that you're not live streaming is because you're in the game and in a seat. That's the only reason why.
Oh, then follow out the CGA Tour for a lot of photos and updates. Because if I get in and I get a seat, ooh, my phone will fill up on storage like that. Buy some more iCloud space. So, with all being said, Joel, thanks so much for joining here. Please follow the CGA Tour on Twitter and Instagram for more. And like and subscribe to the podcast. We don't have any reviews and ratings on Spotify yet, so everyone help me out there a little bit. Send some questions at the CGA Tour on Twitter and Instagram for more, and we'll catch you guys soon. Peace.